Star Wars for me was like the holy grail. It was wonderful. You walk into the theater and within, I guess, 10 seconds of the thing really opening after the words, they were into action. And that's what it's about. And flying. Flying, flying, flying everywhere. I see it replacing the car for two reasons. One, because eventually we won't need fossil fuel. And the other, because it'll be a quicker and easier way to get there once people are acquainted with it. People say, well, it won't fit in the lines of a parking lot, you know, like a car. I said, well, no, but, you know, there was no lines for the car as we transitioned from the horse either. So, you know, I mean, you know, give it some time, and in the interim, we'll land in the back of the parking lot. My name's Alfie Carrington. They call me Alfie Carrington, and I'm building a saucer aircraft. It's called the XV-7H. X for experimental. V for vertical lift and landing. Come off the ground like a hummingbird and move like a hummingbird back and forth and be able to set down like a hummingbird. 7 for the maturity of the project. The project itself, first dates that were written down was in 1977. And H as it deals with the hybrid theme. There's an area on houses that most people don't use, and that's the roof. And what we would do is reinforce the roof like you do the basement, well, the basement floor or the floor over the basement, and use that as well as pads around your home to land the aircraft. The project involves using electromagnets to rotate the disc. It's similar to the systems that they use with the maglev trains in Europe and the maglev trains in Japan. People are familiar with magnets, and the South Pole facing up, South Poles are facing up. And when you try to push these two together, you can't really push them together. You can't see anything in between there, but there is energy keeping these two from coming together. That same energy and or that same radiation will be used in and throughout the aircraft, but directed as far as we're concerned, so that we turn the aircraft into a large alternator. With that happening, you have a energy field around the vehicle. Much like you have around a cell phone, much like you have around laptops and that type of thing. When they talk about the emanations from it and that could cause cancer and that type of thing. Well, those same emanations are what we're going to use to draw additional power from the air to that spot, to that field, that electrical field around the vehicle. And that, we believe, eventually will influence gravity. I do have 2 patents on the aircraft. The second patent had an inquiry from NASA and the Energy Department. NASA used the same pretense that they used before to say that NASA feels that this has significant utility for the conduct of aeronautics. The Energy Department said that this was viable as it dealt with nuclear material. Now, for them to say that was in direct conflict with the pretense of the patent office. That pretense being, there's no such thing as a perpetual motion machine. The Energy Department equated this aircraft with the potential of nuclear energy. Without saying it's a perpetual motion machine, they equated it with nuclear power. Anyway, anytime now, I'm looking for someone to call me and or come in the door and say, hey man, you know, I've been following what you've been doing. Hey, let's do this. You know, here's some money, you know. So that didn't happen. So that's been the problem. Not enough people knows enough about it to be able to say, well, you know, how does that work? I ended up working construction as a backhoe operator with them, and as a laborer with them, and as a driver, truck driver with them. I ended up working as a dishwasher. I've sang my whole life in church, and then, you know, the end of the Motown era, caught that. And so that this karaoke thing was pretty natural for me. But at the same time, there was $1,200 involved that I could put towards the project.
Last night, pre-flight, 0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by day. The XV7H uses 2 discs. I miss the earth so much, miss my wife. Outer disc rotates that way, slowly out of space. Inner disc rotates that way. Oh, such a timeless flight. We believe we can take 20-gallon gas tank, fly around the world, and bring you 10 of those gallons back. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. Touchdown brings me round to find I'm not a man, I think I am before. No, no, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man. Burning out his fuse up here. And I really do think that certain people are put here to do certain things. And one of those, I believe, is for me to come up to complete this saucer aircraft and get it out there and get it moving, what it amounts to. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. We're talking about cruising at 500. And I think it's gonna be long. And I just upgraded that to like 700 miles an hour. I think it's gonna be a long. If we did this and changed that a little bit, we could add 200 miles an hour. I think it's gonna be a long. We're talking about just under Mach. Long, long time. Think it's gonna be a long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. Touchdown. I'm a rock